Hello everyone, I'm Charles. Welcome to Graphic Design Quick Start. In today's episode, I'll be showing you how to reflect type in water in Photoshop. This will be the look we are meant to achieve. If you look closely, you realize how well the letters line up at the bottom, and also the reflected text matches the water ripples. This is a two-series episode. In the last episode, this is what we are aiming to achieve. But in this episode, we'll be working on reflecting the text. Let us switch to a starting composition. Let's go to the layers panel. Here we have this text layer and a background layer. The first thing we need to do is convert the text to a smart object. Click on it to make it active. Go to the layers flyout menu. Click on convert smart object. Let us duplicate the layer by placing Ctrl J, Command J on a mark. Drag the copy below the original. Place Ctrl T, Command T on a mark to access the free transform mode. Click on the top handle and drag it to the bottom. What I'm looking for is a height value of negative 115%. Go to the control bar. Click on the bottom reference point. Change the H value to negative 115%. Press enter twice to effect the change. Let me zoom in. Move the reflected text upward so that it touches the original text. Hold Ctrl and place the up arrow key as many times as possible to line it up with the original text. Let me zoom out. The next step is to create a displacement map. Click on the water layer to make it active. Go to the layers panel flat menu. Click on duplicate layer. Under document, choose new. Click OK. The first thing we need to do is flatten the image. Right click on the water layer. Click on flatten image. Next, go to image, mode, grayscale. Displacement map are easier to predict when they are in grayscale. Go back to image. Click on auto contrast. This will give us the most contrast without creeping the highlights. Go to file, save. Let us call it water demap. Click on save. Let us go back to a composition in progress. Click on the reflected text to make it active. Go to filter, distort, displace. Give it a horizontal scale of 30, a vertical scale of 0. Click OK. Navigate to where I saved the displacement map. Click on it. Click on open. Let me zoom in. If you look closely, you realize the edges are quite jagged and the bottom of the text doesn't line up. Let us work on that. Let us go back to the displacement map. To work on the jagged edges, we need to add some Gaussian blur. Go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Give it a value of 20. Click OK. Go to file, save. Let's go back to a composition in progress. Unfortunately, that doesn't update the composition automatically. We need to only apply the displacement map. Double click on displace. Click OK. Reapply the displacement map. Click on open. And you can notice that smoothens the edges. Let me zoom out. Now what we are left with is aligning the bottom of the text. First, let us create a selection of the bottom of the text. Drag it until where the two layers meet. Next, we need to take the selection to the displacement map and drop it in place. To drop it in place, hold Shift and release your left mouse button. And there we have it. If you are familiar with displacement map, white displaces on one direction and black displaces the other. The only neutral color is 50% gray. And you need the point whereby the two layers meet to be neutral gray. So first, change the foreground to neutral gray. Go to color panel. Change the foreground to 50% gray. Press G for the gradient tool. We need a normal gradient with an opacity of 100%. Also check linear. Change the gradient to foreground to transparent. Click OK. Drag gradient from the top of the selection. Also hold Shift to constrain the movement to the vertical axis. Also need to turn the area above the selection to 50% gray. First, let us inverse the selection. Go to select and click on inverse, or press Shift Ctrl I, Shift Command I on mark. Press Alt backspace, Option delete on the mark to fill the foreground color. Press Ctrl S, Command S on the mark to save. Let us go back to composition in progress. Press Ctrl D, Command D on the mark to deselect. Let us apply the displacement map. Double click on displace. Click OK. Select the displacement map. Click Open. Let me zoom in. That was before, and this is after. Our layers now line up perfectly. Let me zoom out. Next, let us fade the effect a little. We will use a layer mask. Click on the affected layer to make it active. Go to the bottom of the layers panel. Click on the Add Layer Mask icon. Press G for the gradient tool. We need a black to white gradient. Choose foreground to background gradient. Go to the bottom of the reflected text. Hold Shift and drag the gradient upward. The gradient is too much. Let us reduce its density. Double click on the layer mask and reduce the density to 70%. Also, let us reduce the layer opacity to 90%. And that's how we'll reflect type in water in Photoshop. That's it for today. Like, share, and consider subscribing to our channel so that you don't miss out on our next episode.